So you can see here. Okay, first we'll discuss the question paper. So match column 1 with column 2 and select the correct option for the codes given below. Column 1, artificial system of classification. Artificial system of classification was given by Carlos Linnaeus. And next, natural system of classification. Natural system of classification was given by Bentham and Hooker. Phylogenetic system of classification was given by Engler and Prandtl. Option is A2 Linnaeus, B1 that is Bentham and Hooker, C3. So option A. First one is option A. And next, second question, artificial system of classification were based on vegetative characters, okay, and androecium structure. That is, they have taken a few sexual characters. In that, they have taken the stamens, the structure of the stamen as the, okay, okay, has taken into consideration. That's why the stamens altogether we call it as androecium. And next, habit and habitat. Okay, there is so all of these artificial system classification based on all these characters. And next, dash system of classification were based on natural affinities among the organisms. Natural system, because in natural system of classification we have taken all characters, morphological characters, anatomical characters, embryological features, okay, cytological features are taken. So all the natural affinities we are taken into consideration. That's why that is the natural system of classification. And next, select the incorrect pair. Okay, numerical taxonomy. All observable characters. Yes. Okay, that means for every character we are given a number and we have taken into consideration all the characters. And next, cytotaxonomy. That is cytological information related to the cell. And next, chemotaxonomy. Okay, this is okay. The chromosome number and structure. This chromosome number and structure also comes under cytotaxonomy. Chemotaxonomy means the chemicals, the different types of chemicals that are present in the living organism. Based on the different types of chemicals that are present in the living organisms are taken into consideration in chemotaxonomy, not the chromosome number and its structure. Next, classic taxonomy means origin from a common evolutionary. It is one of the evolutionary relationships. Which out of the okay, that is which out of the following are included under Tracheophyta, that is vascular plants, pteridophyte, gymnosperms, angiosperms. That means all the plants which possess vascular tissues are included under the Tracheophyta. It includes pteridophyte, gymnosperms, and angiosperms. So the option is D, all of these. Next, coming to the sixth question. Okay, match column 1 with column 2 and select the correct option from the codes given below. Column 1, column 2. Okay. That is the non-vascular cryptogams. That is the cryptogams means seedless plants. Okay, cryptogams means seedless plants. Non-vascular cryptogams. That is algae and bryophytes. Okay, and vascular cryptogams, that is pteridophytes. And phanerogams means seed producing plant, that is gymnosperms and angiosperms. So that is option A. And next, seventh question, system of classification that employs numerical data to evaluate similarities and differences is known as, okay, phonetics. Okay, sorry, phonetics. Okay, the numerical data, that means if you are taking into consideration the numerical data and comparing the organisms, then it is called as phonetics. And next, artificial systems gave equal weightage to vegetative and sexual characteristics. That is not acceptable because often the vegetative characters are more easily affected by environment. So the vegetative characters are mostly affected, but the sexual, anatomical, and physiological characters will not be much affected, whereas the vegetative characters are easily changed because of the change in the environment. And next, natural system of classification take into consideration. Okay, all the features, morphological features, cytological features, physiological and reproductive characters, embryological features, everything. So the option is D, correct option. Next question. Classification systems were based on evolutionary relationships between various organisms. Evolutionary relationship, that is the phylogenetic classification. Natural system, all the natural affinities. Artificial system, only a few characters. But phylogenetic relationship, okay, phylogenetic classification is a, okay, it is related to the evolutionary relationships. And next, a system of classification in which a large number of traits are considered is natural system classification. Okay, in natural system of classification, okay, almost all the characters are taken into consideration. So we'll find a large number of characters taken into consideration. And next, natural system of classification differs from artificial system in, okay, bringing out similarities and dissimilarities. Okay, that means similarities, okay, okay, similarities, okay, bringing the differences between similarities and dissimilarities among the organisms. And next, plant classification as proposed by Carlos Linnaeus was artificial because it was based on, because it okay, this artificial system was mainly based on the morphological characters. Okay, only a few morphological characters are taken into consideration. Okay, they are not given much importance to other factors or characters. And next, each character is given equal importance at the same time. Hundreds of characters can be considered in numerical taxonomy because for every character they have given a particular numerical, that is a certain number, and every character is given equal importance, and at the same time they have taken into consideration a large number of characters, that is a numerical taxonomy. And next, read the given statements about algae and select the correct option. Okay, plant body is thalloid. Reproduction by vegetative, asexual, and sexual methods. Yes. Chlamydomonas, volvox, and Eulothrix are multicellular algae. No. Chlamydomonas and volvox are unicellular forms, whereas only Eulothrix is the multicellular algae. So the statements 1, 2, and 3 are true. Okay. So option C. Next, the 16th question. At least a half of the total carbon dioxide fixation on Earth carried out through photosynthesis by algae. Option C. And next, the 17th question. Dash and dash are unicellular algae rich in proteins, which are used as food supplements even by space travelers like Chlorella and Spirulina. These are unicellular algae which are proteins and used as a supplements by the space travelers. And next 18th question. Match column 1 with column 2 and select the correct option from the quotes given below. Column 1, column 2. Okay. Food. Okay. Okay. Which are used as food. Okay. Laminaria. Agar. is obtained from brown Gelidium and Gracilaria. Algin is present in a brown algae. And carrageenan, red algae. So A2, B3, C1 and D4. Option A. Okay, Porphyria and Laminaria are used as food and fodder also. Agar is obtained from a Gelidium and Gracilaria. Algin is a phycocolloid which is obtained from brown algae. Okay, from the cell wall of a brown algae. And carrageenan is the phycocolloid that is red algae. So option A. And next, 19th question. Major photosynthetic pigments in green algae are chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B. And next, 20th question. Green algae usually have a rigid cell wall made of an inner layer of a dash and an outer layer of dash. Okay, inner layer is cellulose and outer layer is pectose. That's what you have to remember. So option inner layer is cellulose and outer layer is pectose. So option D. Okay, here clearly asked what is the inner layer and what is the outer layer. According to that, you have to answer. And next, 21st question. Which of the following is the correct match of algal class with its characteristic reserve food? Okay, that is chlorophyce, starch, pheophyce, mannitol laminaria, rhodophyce, floridine starch. Yes, all of these. Okay, in chlorophyce, the reserve food material is starch. In pheophyce, it is mannitol and laminarin. And in rhodophyce, it is floridine starch. So all ups are correct. So all of these. Next, 22nd question. In most green algae, pyrenoids represent the storage bodies located in chloroplast. Okay, the pyrenoids are present in the chloroplast as the reserve food, which consists of proteins besides starch. And next, the cup-shaped chloroplast is present in. Okay, when you observe cellular filamentous form, you can understand that the chloroplasts are present in the form of ribbon-like. Spirogyra, Elothrix, and Chera are multicellular filamentous forms. In that, we'll find elongated ribbon-like or coiled. Okay, whereas the Chlamydomonas is a unicellular. In that, we'll find cup-shaped chloroplast. And next, a fusion of two gametes which are dissimilar in size is termed as oogamy, isogamy, anisogamy, both A and C. Because oogamy is also a type of anisogamy because it occurs between the fusion of two dissimilar gametes. As well as anisogamy is also a fusion of two dissimilar gametes. So both B, A and C. So option D is the correct one. Next, 20th question. Which of the following pigments are found in brown algae? Brown algae. In brown algae, we'll find chlorophyll A, chlorophyll C, and fucoxanthin are the major chlorophyll pigments. So option C. And next, 26th question. Laminarin and mannitol, the reserve food of brown algae, are complex carbohydrates. This mannitol and laminarin are complex carbohydrates. Option B. And next, 27th, which out of the following does not belong to brown algae? Okay. Ectocarpus, Dictyota, Laminaria, Fucus, Sargassum, Ectocarpus. These are all belonging to the brown algae only. So option B, C, D all belongs to brown algae. Only Gelidium and Batrachospermum belong to the group red algae. That's why option A is the correct choice, because here asked does not belong to brown algae. And next, 28th question. Which of the following statements about Phaeophyce is correct? Which of the following statements about Phaeophyce is incorrect? Vegetative reproduction occurs by fragmentation. Yes. In case of Phaeophyce also, vegetative reproduction occurs by fragmentation. So it is the correct statement. Reproduction is by biflagellate pear-shaped zoospores. Yes. Okay. Yes, the spores are zoospores and they possess two flagella. And next, reproduction gametes are pyriform and bear two laterally attached flagella. Yes. So all the three statements, A, B, C statements are correct. So the wrong statement is none of these. Option D. And next, 29th question. Photosynthetic pigments of rhodophyce are chlorophyll A, chlorophyll D, and phycoerythrin. Option D. Chlorophyll A and B in chlorophyce, chlorophyll A and C and fucoxanthin in a C. But in case of red algae, we'll find chlorophyll A, chlorophyll D, and phycoerythrin, which is characteristic red color. And next, phycoerythrin is present in red algae. Okay, in red algae, we'll find a phyco. Okay, this is a phycoerythrin. So among this, which belongs to red algae? Euglena. Euglena belongs to euglenoids in protozoans. Chlamydomonas belongs to chlorophyce. Fucus belongs to phaeophyce. Only the example is a Polysiphonia. Polysiphonia is the example given under red algae or rhodophyce, which consists of phycoerythrin as the pigment. Okay, that is. Okay, anybody is having any doubt with the question paper? Okay, that fifth question, now I have given the option, now you'll get the answers. Okay, no problem, it will be added. Those are done correctly. Okay, I forgot to give the option, no problem. You have given your option now. Okay, according to that, the correct option will take it. Okay, no issues. It will be recollect. Okay, recounts the marks and that marks will be sent. Okay. So up to now, we have discussed about the different groups of plants that were included under the plant kingdom. Okay, that were included under the plant kingdom, different types of groups that were included under the plant kingdom. That is algae, general characteristics of algae and the classification of algae. General characteristics of bryophytes and class of bryophytes. General characteristics of pteridophytes and classification of pteridophytes. General characteristics of gymnosperms. Okay, and the classification of gymnosperms. And next, general characteristics of angiosperms and the classification of angiosperms briefly. Okay, that is. And next, today we'll discuss about the life cycles of all these organisms in general, which represents, okay, we already said while we are discussing about biological classification, okay, while we are discussing about the biological classification, while we are discussing about the plant kingdom, we have observed, okay, we have said the unique feature of plant kingdom. What is plant kingdom means? That is alternation of generation. Alternation of generation. We have observed. Okay, in case of algae, we'll observe the sporophyte and gametophyte. In case of bryophytes also, we'll observe the gametophyte as well as sporophyte. And in case of pteridophytes, also we observed the sporophyte and gametophyte. And in case of gymnosperms also, we have observed the sporophyte and gametophyte. And in case of angiosperms also, we'll observe the sporophyte and gametophyte. Then, what is the difference between the gametophyte and the sporophyte of all these groups of organisms? Is there any difference? Or all are showing the similar pattern of sporophyte and gametophyte stages? Or is there any difference? And how this sporophyte is alternated with the gametophyte? And what the gametophyte stage is represented by? What the sporophyte stage is represented in all these groups of plants? That is all we'll discuss under this topic, plant life cycles and alternation of generations. Plant life cycles and alternation of generations. Okay, generally when you observe here, okay, generally when you observe here, in okay, in plants, both haploid and diploid cells can divide by mitosis. Okay, in plants, both haploid and diploid cells can divide by mitosis. But it is not observed with reference to animals. Generally, the haploid cells will not divide. Okay, what are the haploid cells in the animals means? That is gametes. The gametes will never divide by mitosis. They directly, the male gamete and the female gamete will fuse and results in the formation of zygote. And the zygote which is diploid, that one will undergo mitotic cell division. But haploid cells usually do not undergo mitotic cell division or cell division in case of animals at any stage. But it is not okay, it is not like that in case of plant cells. Okay, in plants, both haploid as well as diploid cells can divide by mitosis. So this ability leads to the formation of different plant bodies, that is haploid and diploid plant body. So if the haploid cell divides and gives rise to a plant body, then the plant body, the ploidy of that plant body will be haploid. If the diploid cell divides and gives rise to a plant body, then the ploidy of that plant body will be diploid. So in plants, both the haploid cells as well as the diploid cells both can undergo mitosis and both can give rise to the plant bodies. That's why we are getting two different stages of plants. Okay, that's why because of this phenomena which is observed in plants, the plants are able to give rise to two different types of or two different stages of plant body, haploid plant body and diploid plant body. Okay, that is the haploid plant body produces gametes by mitosis. And next, okay, generally when you observe, what is the function of this haploid plant body? Okay, the haploid cells divide by mitosis and give rise to a plant body. And after a certain period of time, this haploid, okay, the sum of the cells that are present in that haploid body will undergo mitosis and they are transformed into gametes. So as it is producing the gamete, as this plant body, which is a haploid, undergoing mitosis and giving rise to gametes. So this plant body, which is a haploid and undergoing mitosis to produce gametes, this plant body, we are calling it as a gametophyte. Okay, this plant body represents a gametophyte. So that okay, and this gametophyte produce gametes now, and these gametes will undergo fertilization. Okay, that is okay. That means these gametes will undergo fusion results in the, and this fusion of gametes we are calling it as fertilization. Following fertilization, the zygote is produced. As a result of fertilization, what is happening? The zygote is produced. The zygote is produced. And this zygote also divides by mitosis. How the zygote is produced? The zygote is produced by the fusion of two haploid gametes. So haploid plus haploid, it gives rise to a diploid zygote. Now this diploid zygote also undergoes mitosis and give rise to a plant body. And this diploid plant body, we are calling it as a sporophyte. Because this diploid plant body, which we are calling it as a sporophyte, will undergo meiosis and produces haploid spores. Understand? Okay? And these haploid spores on germination give rise to a, that is, okay, this haploid spores, now they undergo mitosis and they give rise to a haploid plant body, which we are calling it as gametophyte again. So like this, in a cyclic manner, the gametophyte give rise to a sporophyte and the sporophyte to a gametophyte. And again, gametophyte, which will produce gametes, and by the fusion of these gametes, okay, by fertilization, it results in the formation of diploid zygote, and this diploid zygote undergoes mitosis and give rise to a sporophyte plant body, and this sporophyte plant body will undergo meiosis and produces the haploid spores, which will undergo mitosis to give rise to a haploid plant body, which we are calling it gametophyte. So in that manner, in a cyclic way, the gametophyte alternates with the sporophyte. The sporophyte rise to gametophyte, and again the gametophyte give rise to sporophyte. So one stage is alternating with the other stage. This phenomenon we are calling it as a alternation of generation. Okay, this in turn divide by mitosis to form a haploid plant body once again, which represents gametophyte. So that means, okay, the haploid spores undergoes mitosis and give rise to a haploid plant body, which represents the gametophyte. Why? Because this gametophyte will undergo mitosis and give rise to haploid gametes. As it is a gamete, okay, as it is producing the gamete, that's why we are calling it as gametophyte. And these gametes fuse during fertilization and results in the formation of diploid zygote. And this diploid zygote also undergoes mitosis and give rise to a plant body, which we are calling it as a sporophyte. And the cells that are present in the sporophyte will undergo meiosis and give rise to a haploid spores. And these spores undergo, this haploid spores now undergoes again mitosis and give rise to a plant body that is gametophyte in turn. So it is occurring in a cyclic manner. The gametophyte is alternating with the sporophyte. Okay. Thus, during the life cycle of any sexually reproducing plant, there is an alternation of generations between gamete-producing gametophyte and a spore-producing diploid sporophyte. Okay, such a alternation of a gametophyte, haploid gametophyte stage with that of a diploid sporophyte in the life cycle of a plant body, we are calling it as the alternation of generation. Okay, we are calling it as the alternation of a generation. Okay, anybody is having any doubt in the alternation of generation? Okay, next, when you observe this alternation generations, okay, even though the organism is showing gametophyte stage and sporophyte stage in their life cycle, there is a slight variation in the two stages. So based upon the structure and the duration for which these two stages exist in the life cycle of the plants, the life cycle of the plants are broadly divided into three types: haplontic life cycle, diplontic life cycle, and haplodiplontic life cycle. So we have got three different types of life cycle. One is haplontic life cycle, and the second one is diplontic life cycle, and the third one is haplodiplontic life cycle. So we'll discuss one by one. So, however, different plant groups as well as individual representing them differ in the following patterns. That is haplontic life cycle, diplontic life cycle, and a haplodiplontic life cycle. So what we can observe, what is the difference in that haplontic, diplontic, and haplodiplontic life cycles? First of all, we'll go with the haplontic life cycle. When you observe the haplontic life cycle, in haplontic life cycle of plants, here the diploid stage or the sporophyte stage or the sporophytic diploid stage is represented only by a single cell, that is represented by zygote. That means only the diploid stage in this organism is the zygote, and the remaining all the phase of the life cycle will be haploid only. That means 99% of the life cycle is occupied by the gametophyte, which is a haploid. Okay, and the sporophytic diploid stage is represented only by the zygote. Such a type of life cycle we are calling it as a haplontic life cycle. Why? Because it is observed in case of algae. Okay, this haplontic life cycle is observed in most of the algae. In most of the algae, we are observing this haplontic life cycle. A few exceptions are there. That one we'll discuss later while we are discussing about other groups. Okay, so that means here, whatever the stage that we are observing with reference to algae, that is the gametophyte. Okay, we are observing the chlamydomonas, we are observing the Spirogyra, we are observing the structure of Ulothrix. Okay, Ulothrix. Okay, and next Volvox. Okay, all these are representing the gametophyte stage and they are haploid. And these will produce the gametes by mitosis, and these gametes will undergo fertilization and results in the formation of zygote, which is diploid, and that zygote only represents the sporophyte. Why? Because in these organisms we don't find embryo. We don't find a further development of this zygote. Immediately directly undergoes and produces spores. Any intermediate stage. Intermediate stage, zygote immediately undergoes meiosis to produce haploid spores, and these haploid spores will give rise to a haploid gametophyte. Okay, if not immediately also, that in the form of zygote only, it will be in a resting period. It will not give rise to any intermediate stage. Okay, if the conditions are not favorable, it will remain as zygote only. It will not give rise to any other structure. When the conditions are favorable, at the time the zygote divides by meiosis, and the zygote divides by meiosis and give rise to haploid spores, which on germination give rise to haploid gametophyte. So in this group of organisms which are showing haplontic life cycle, in these organisms, the diploid stage or the diploid sporophytic stage is represented only by the zygote. No other diploid or diploid structure is observed. So that's why as the sporophytic diploid stage is restricted to zygote, that's why not taking into consideration that structure, because in any the zygote is diploid only, no exceptions. In any organism, the gametes are haploid and the zygote is diploid. No exceptions. So we can't take that zygote as of. But in algae, that zygote only representing the sporophytic stage. So that is taken as a negligible diploid, okay, sporophytic stage. So most of the phase is occupied by the sporophyte. That's why, okay, these life cycle we are calling, okay, this type of life cycle we are calling it as a haplontic life cycle. Okay, that is what we can see here. So sporophytic generation is represented only by the one-celled zygote. That means the sporophytic generation is represented by a single cell, that is a zygote. There are no free living sporophytes because the zygote which is produced will be remained with the gametophyte and later it will produce the spores. So meiosis in the zygote results in the formation of haploid spores, and the haploid spores divide mitotically and form the gametophyte. So the dominant photosynthetic phase in such plants is the free living gametophyte. So the dominant stage, that is 99% of the life cycle, is occupied by the gametophyte. That's why we are saying the dominant stage is a gametophyte. And this kind of life cycle is termed as a haplontic life cycle. Okay, many algae such as volvox, Spirogyra, and some species of Chlamydomonas represent this pattern. Here we can see here. Okay, this is the life cycle of a haplontic life plants. We can see the blue structure is represented by the sporophyte, the diploid sporophyte, and this pink color region is representing the haplontic life cycle, which is representing the gametophyte. So we can observe the major part of the life cycle is occupied by the major part of the life cycle is occupied by the haplontic life cycle rather than a diploid zygote which represents a sporophyte. That's why we are calling this one as the haplontic life cycle. Understood? Anybody is having any doubt regarding the haplontic life cycle? Okay. And next, coming to the second type of life cycle, that is a diplontic life cycle. Okay, when you observe this diplontic life cycle, in diplontic life cycle is opposite to the haplontic life cycle. Here, the major part of the life cycle is occupied by the diploid sporophyte. Only the gametes, okay, only the gametes which are also not free living, which are always associated with the sporophyte plant body. Only the gamete stage for a brief period of time, only representing the gametophyte phase. Major part of the cycle means here 99% of the life cycle is occupied by the sporophyte, which is diploid, and only the 1% of the life cycle is occupied by the haploid gametophyte, which is represented by the gametes or gametophyte. Okay, so has the major free living independent and the major part of the life cycle is occupied by the diploid sporophytic stage. Diplontic life cycle. That is what we can see. Okay. Okay, on the other extreme is the type where in the diploid sporophyte is the dominant photosynthetic independent phase of the plant. So what is the major part of the life cycle? Okay, which stage is occupying the major part of the life cycle means that is the sporophyte. The diploid sporophyte, which is dominant, photosynthetic, and independent. It will not depend upon the gametophyte. Okay, in turn, the gametophyte only will depends upon the sporophyte. That's what you have to remember this. So the gametophyte, okay, that is the, and next when you observe the gametophytic stage, the gametophytic phase is represented by a single or a single haploid gametophyte. Okay, single or a few celled haploid gametophyte. Okay, that means the gametophyte is represented. For example, we can observe now when we are discussing about angiosperms, we come across the embryo sac. The embryo sac is considered as the female gametophyte, which consists of few cells. That is the 7-celled 8 nucleate stage. We said no. And next, when you observe the pollen grain represents the male gametophyte. It is a single cell or 2-celled. So that is, it is represented by a single cell or few cells. The gametophyte stage, and it is not independent. Okay, and it is not. It is always associated with the sporophyte. So such a life cycle in which the major part of the life cycle of the organism of the plant is occupied by the diploid sporophyte, and only a few cells, a single cell or few cells are only representing the haploid female, okay, haploid gametophyte stage. Then such a type of life cycle, we are calling it as a diplontic life cycle. Okay, showing the diplontic life cycle. For example, okay, the alga, okay, in algae also showing some diplont, okay, some organism showing diplontic life cycle like fucus, which belongs to Phaeophyceae, that is a brown algae. Okay, an alga belonging to fucus represents this pattern, exceptions. And in addition, all seed bearing plants, that is gymnosperms and sperms, that is the phanerogams. Okay, phanerogams, that is all seed producing plants, we call them as a phanerogams, that is the gymnosperms and angiosperms. Okay, alga like a fucus, and next all seed producing plants like a pterid, okay, like a gymnosperms and angiosperms are showing this diplontic life cycle. Okay, that is follow this pattern with some variations wherein the gametophytic stage is due to multicelled. Okay, when you observe in case of gymnosperms, okay, the female gametophyte is multicellular and consists of few cells. But when it comes to angiosperms, it consists of only 7 cells, the female gametophyte. So we can observe okay, slight variations, but they are represented for a brief period of time and not independent structures. Okay, they are not photosynthetic structures and they are not the dominant structures. The gametophyte. So such a type of life cycle, we are calling it as a diplontic life cycle. Oh, you can see on the screen. Okay, here we can see major part of the life cycle is occupied by the sporophyte. The diploid sporophyte 2N, the blue color. Only the gametophyte stage, which is a pink, which is represented in the pink, it is only for a brief period of time. Okay, okay, it is restricted to few cells in the life cycle of these organisms like gymnosperms and angiosperms, and in some alga like fucus. We'll find this diplontic cycle. Understand? Anybody is having any doubt? And the next one is a haplodiplontic life cycle. This haplodiplontic life cycle is observed in bryophytes and pteridophytes. Bryophytes and pteridophytes, interestingly, exhibit an intermediate condition, that is a haplodiplontic life cycle. Both phases are multicellular, but however, they differ in their dominant phases. Okay, in bryophytes, the haploid gametophyte is the dominant stage. So the pteridophytes, the diploid sporophyte is the dominant stage. But whatever it is, both the stages are observed in both bryophytes and pteridophytes for a certain period of time. We can see here. Okay, we can see both sporophytic stage and gametophytic stage are almost a little bit nearer. Okay, it may be like 60 and 40%. Okay, 60% of the life cycle occupied by the gametophyte, and 40% might be occupied by the sporophyte. In case of bryophytes, we'll observe 70 plus 30. 70% of the life cycle is occupied by the gametophyte, haploid gametophyte, and 30% of the life cycle is occupied by the diploid sporophyte. But when it comes to pteridophytes, in pteridophytes, 60% of the life cycle is occupied by the diploid sporophyte, whereas the 40% of the life cycle is occupied by the haploid gametophyte. So whatever it is, for a certain extended period of time, both gametophyte and haploid gametophytic stage and diploid sporophytic stage are observed in bryophytes and pteridophytes. And such a type of life cycle in which we can observe both gametophyte stage and sporophytic stage for a brief period of time, then such a life cycle, we are calling it as a haplodiplontic life cycle. Okay, we can see here. Dominant independent photosynthetic thalloid or erect phase is represented by haploid gametophyte, and it alternates with the short-lived multicellular sporophyte, totally or partially dependent on the gametophyte for its anchorage and nutrition. So in bryophytes, the dominant photosynthetic free-living stage is represented by the gametophyte, which is a haploid, and it alternates with the short-lived diploid sporophyte, which is depending upon the gametophytes for its nutrition and anchorage attachment. This type of life cycle we are observing in case of bryophytes. But when it comes to pteridophytes, the diploid sporophyte is represented by dominant independent photosynthetic vascular plant body. Whatever plant body that we are observing, that a plant body, that independent photosynthetic vascular plant body represents the sporophyte, which is a diploid. And it alternates with the multicellular, saprophytic or autotrophic, independent but short-lived haploid gametophyte. So this diploid sporophyte alternates with the haploid gametophyte, which is short-lived but multicellular and independent. So whatever it is, whether the gametophyte is dominant and a sporophyte is short-lived in case of bryophytes. But in case of pteridophytes, the dominant stage is sporophyte and the gametophyte is short-lived. But whatever it is, the sporophyte is diploid and gametophyte is a haploid. So as both the stages are represented for a brief period of, for a certain period of time, differentiated period of time, we are calling it as a haplodiplontic life cycle. Okay, so such a life cycle we can observe with reference to bryophytes and pteridophytes. And in some algae also we can observe this haplodiplontic life cycle. Interestingly, while most of algae are diplontic, some of them such as Ectocarpus, Polysiphonia, Kelps are haplodiplontic, whereas the Fucus is a diplontic. So in algae, most of them are haplontic, but few exceptions are there, like Ectocarpus and Polysiphonia, Kelps, which belongs to, okay, this brown algae are showing haplodiplontic life cycle, and another group of organism, that is a Fucus, which also the representative of brown algae is showing diplontic life cycle. Okay, that is the difference that we observe with reference to the life cycles in with reference to the different groups of plants. That is algae. In algae, mostly haplontic life cycle, and in bryophytes and pteridophytes, we'll observe a haplontic life cycle with variation in the certain period of this bryophyte, okay, this sporophytic stage and gametophytic stage. And next, in gymnosperms and angiosperms, we can observe diplontic life cycle. A few exceptions in algae, like Fucus, which will show diplontic life cycle, and Ectocarpus, Polysiphonia. Okay, Ectocarpus belongs to brown algae. Polysiphonia belongs to red algae. And next, Kelps belongs to brown algae. These group will show haplodiplontic life cycle.